Good morning, everybody. Fox News alert now. New concerns. The White House is playing politics with national security. Congress deadlocked now on a deal to fund DHS. We learn about a threat now to the largest shopping mall in the country, and the White House is sounding the alarm on that.
The clock is ticking, and as I stand here, there is nothing from Congress to fund us beyond that point. The American public needs to understand the consequences of permitting a shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security.
So is the new threat being used to put pressure on Congress? That's the question we're asking today here live in America's Newsroom. I'm Bill Hember. Good morning and a big welcome back to you.
Good morning. Thanks, Bill. Good morning, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum. So this is what we've got. Senate Democrats refuse to vote on the bill because they don't want to vote on President Obama's immigration plan.
We see right now the Senate Democrats have blocked yet again a chance to keep DHS funded. They're putting a priority on an unlawful executive action, or at least one that's being challenged, over the safety of the American people, and I think that's a shame.
We have Team Fox coverage for you. Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel has the latest on the showdown on Capitol Hill, and Byron York has more on the politics of all of this, and there is lots of that in the mix. But first, let's go to Mike. So we're hearing, Mike, about this Plan B. What does that look like?
Well, Martha, good morning. After 4 attempts to bring up the House-passed DHS funding bill, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell quickly pivoted to separating Homeland Security funding from efforts to stop President Obama's 2014 immigration executive action. McConnell explained it this way.
It's another way to get the Senate unstuck from a Democratic filibuster and move the debate forward.
Unstuck. Calendar at this point is a concern with Homeland Security running out of money late Friday night, and also is the reaction from House rank-and-file conservatives. But first things first, the Senate's trying to get something passed. Martha?
Yeah, so what is the reaction from Senate Democrats who have expressed concerns about the president's action on immigration as well?
Well, that's right. We had 8 Democrats, 1 independent, who had expressed concerns or reservations about the president going around Congress taking this unilateral action on immigration, but they had refused to break a Democratic filibuster. But we got some interesting news from West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin on Fox and Friends earlier this morning.
I will support the actions as basically on a bill that would prevent the president from his executive actions. I would support and vote with him on that, but we need to have a clean vote on the Homeland Security bill.
So that is big news. Obviously, a Democrat breaking ranks with the Democratic leadership. We will see if other Democrats follow suit to see whether this bill going after the president's 2014 immigration executive action can get through the United States Senate. At this point, the House of Representatives is taking a wait-and-see approach to see what the Senate can pass. Martha?
There's a lot of moving parts in this one. Mike, thanks so much.
So all this discussion coming now in debate as the terror group Al-Shabaab out of Somalia is calling for an attack on the Mall of America in Minnesota. The White House has said there is no credible threat. However, Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson warning the American public to stay vigilant. And the mixed messages are causing some to ask whether or not the White House is playing politics.
If there's not a specific threat, why was the Secretary suggesting that people be extra careful if you go to that mall? Did it have anything to do with this DHS funding fight to sort of scare Congress more to get that money to say, hey, there's threats out there?
No, it did not.
Well, Byron York is our chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, also a Fox News contributor. Byron, welcome back and good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
What about the charge of using this in the debate over funding? Guilty or not on that charge?
Well, I think they're guilty on that. I mean, there's no doubt that there's a contradiction between what you just heard Josh Earnest, the White House spokesman, say and what the Secretary of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, said a couple of days ago. He says specifically about the Mall of America threat, that's all the more reason why I need a budget. So I think there's no doubt that administration officials are connecting specific terrorist threats, are highlighting those threats as part of the effort to get DHS funding passed on Capitol Hill.
So Democrats accused Republicans of doing this when President Bush was in the White House. Remember those charges?
Oh, we heard that a lot. Remember, there were a number of occasions when the White House raised the terror level. Remember those color codings they used to have? Raise the terror level. Democrats said they'd be playing politics with it. I think you're going to have some of those same accusations about this.
Did Republicans put themselves in a bind, Byron? Could they have managed this perhaps better?
Well, they're certainly the ones who are making this happen. They attached a bill to defund the president's unilateral action on immigration. They attached that to DHS funding. They knew that there would be a fight. They could have done it separately, but a lot of Republicans felt the only way to pressure Democrats to vote on defunding the president's immigration action was to make them vote on a larger bill to fund DHS. That has not so far worked, and what you just heard was Mitch McConnell saying, okay, we're going to do a clean vote specifically on the president's immigration action, and then we'll do a DHS funding vote.
To be clear, though, if they don't get a deal, border security, TSA employees, for example, they don't fold up and go home on Friday.
Absolutely not. Remember, we just heard the president say yesterday that if the funding is not passed, those workers will go to work without pay. That's two different things. They're not going to be staying at home, but they will go to work. They won't be paid for as long as there is no funding. They are all what's called essential employees.
Byron, thank you. You're always essential. We'll see you sometime real soon here on America's Newsroom. Thank you.
All right, we've got much more. Big lineup of guests today. Congressman Pete King will be here with more on whether the White House is playing politics with security. Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal is also here on why he says President Obama is unfit to be commander-in-chief. We'll get reaction to that from David Axelrod, and why the president seems to be downplaying the threat of Islamic terror in the world. Why would he do that? We'll talk to him about that. And former CIA Chief Mike Hayden on how ISIS is expanding, now in 12 countries around the globe.